Right now, without realizing it, you're carrying around pieces of a body that stopped existing thousands of years ago. Parts that mattered once for gripping branches, sniffing out danger, surviving a world we don't live in anymore, and then quietly went out of business. Nobody sent you the update. They're still inside you. Some of them you can find on your own body in the next 10 seconds. And one of them is a sense you don't even know you have, that your brain stopped listening to a long time ago. This is a tour of the leftovers, the spare parts of an older human still riding along inside you. 12 of them, getting stranger as we go. By the end, you're going to look at your own body like a museum nobody bothered to clean out. Let's start with one you can see right now. Lay your hand flat, palm up. Touch your thumb to your pinky and bend your wrist toward you. For most of you, a thin cord just popped up in the middle of your wrist. That's a muscle, the Palmaris Longus. Now the strange part. Roughly 1 in 5 people don't have it at all, and they've never noticed because it does almost nothing. Back when our ancestors were hanging from branches, it added grip. Today, it's so unnecessary that surgeons treat it like a parts bin. When someone needs a tendon rebuilt elsewhere in the body, this is the one they quietly take. You'd never miss it. And if your cord didn't show up, congratulations. You're already a slightly newer model. Hold on to that phrase. It's going to come back. Here's one you've felt 1,000 times without thinking about it. You step into the cold, or a piece of music hits exactly right, and tiny bumps rise across your arms. Each bump is a microscopic muscle pulling a single hair upright. On an animal with a thick coat, that's genuinely useful. Raised fur traps warm air, and it makes the animal look bigger when it's threatened. It's the same machinery that puffs a startled cat into a ball. The catch is, we lost the fur and kept the buttons. So when you're cold or moved or scared, your body still fires the command to fluff up a coat that hasn't been there for a very long time. You're not really getting goosebumps. You're getting the ghost of fur. Try something. No hands. Just try to wiggle your ears. Some of you just did it. Most of you felt nothing move at all. The ones who can are working the auricular muscles. And they're not special. They just kept a connection the rest of us dropped. These muscles used to aim our ears towards sounds, the way a cat swivels its ears at a noise without turning its head. We turn our whole heads now, so they mostly retired. But here's the detail that gets me. Wire people up. Play a sudden sound off to the side, and even people who swear they can't move their ears fire those exact muscles, trying to point the ear at the noise. The reflex never left. It's just plugged into a dish that no longer turns. And those are only the leftovers you can feel from the outside, the ones hiding inside you, and one written into you before you were even born, are where this gets genuinely odd. Reach down to the very base of your spine. That last hard little point is your tailbone, the coccyx. It's exactly what it sounds like, the stump of a tail. Our ancestors used a full one for balance in the trees. We stood up, it lost its job, and it shrank to a few fused bones. You only notice when you land on them wrong. But the strange part isn't that you have a tail stump, it's that you grew a tail and lost it. Every human embryo sprouts a small, real tail about a month into development, and then the body dissolves it back, like deleting a draft. Usually, every so often, a baby is born with a tiny, soft nub the body forgot to erase. The instructions for a tail are still in you. Your body just normally remembers to ignore them. Back to your ear for this one. Run a finger along the upper rim, the outer fold near the top. Some of you will feel a small hard bump there. About 1 in 10 people have it, and it has a name. Darwin's tubercle, named after that Darwin. It's the leftover of a pointier, more folded ear, the kind that funneled sound forward like a built-in dish to catch something moving behind you. We traded sharp ears for big brains and turning heads, and the point flattened into this little nub. It does nothing. It won't sharpen your hearing by a single decibel. It's just a tiny fossil on the side of your head, handed down through families of an ear we stopped needing. This next one, a lot of you have met in a dentist's chair. Thousands of years ago, our jaws were bigger and our food fought back. Raw roots, tough meat, the kind of chewing that ground teeth flat. A third set of molars at the very back earned its place. Then we learned to cook. Food got soft, jaws got smaller, and nobody told the teeth. So they come shoving in around 18 into a mouth with no room. And the result is pain, infections, and a whole genre of videos of people saying things they regret after anesthesia. But here's the part that ties back to your wrist. Evolution is mid-edit here too. More and more people are now simply born without wisdom teeth. Same direction as that missing wrist cord. The newer model arriving in real time. Now into the gut, the appendix, a little dead-end tube hanging off your large intestine, famous for one thing, occasionally trying to kill you. Around 1 in 10 people get appendicitis in their lifetime, which is why surgeons half joke that its real job is keeping them employed. For a long time, we wrote it off as pure junk, a leftover from ancestors who ate far rougher plants. But the twist is recent and kind of redeeming. There's real evidence the appendix acts as a safe house for your gut bacteria. When an illness flushes your intestines out, it quietly restocks them from the reserve. You can live a completely normal life without it, but maybe it's not the dead weight we assumed. So some of these are harmless, some are useful, some just cause trouble. The last few are stranger than all of that, including one part of you that is fully built, fully present, and completely switched off. Open your mouth in a mirror and look at the back of your throat. Those 2 lumps on either side are your tonsils. In childhood, they actually pull their weight. Immune outposts at the entrance to your airway, catching germs early and teaching a young immune system what's dangerous. But by adulthood, they shrink. Their job mostly handed off to other tissue, which is why, through the mid-1900s, doctors took them out of millions of kids almost as a routine, like a rite of passage. Remove them, and most people are completely fine. A part that starts out useful, then slowly turns optional as you grow up. Stay at the mirror. Look at the inner corner of your eye, by the nose, that small pink fold sitting there. That's the leftover of a third eyelid. Plenty of animals have the full version, a thin, half-clear lid that sweeps sideways across the eye to clean and protect it without fully blocking sight. A bird can blink it mid-flight. A cat uses it constantly. We got the trial version, a stub that doesn't move and doesn't cover anything. It just sits in the corner of your eye, the abandoned hinge of a window that no longer closes. Here's one that's strange, because nobody can fully explain it. Behind your forehead, your cheeks, and around your nose, your skull is hollow, a set of air pockets called sinuses, and scientists still argue about what they're actually for. Maybe they lighten the skull, so your head isn't a bowling ball on your neck. Maybe they warm the air you breathe. Maybe they're crumple zones, protecting your brain from a hit to the face. Maybe they're just leftover space from how the face grew. What we know for sure is that they fill with mucus, get infected, and turn your head to concrete every time you catch a cold. Big empty rooms in your skull. Purpose uncertain, rent unpaid. This one's a quirk of the assembly line. Every human body starts from the same blueprint. In the first weeks of development, before the body commits to a male or female path, it goes ahead and builds nipples. By the time the rest of the differences kick in, they're already there, and evolution never bothered to remove them from men, because they cost nothing and harm nothing. So roughly half the planet walks around with a feature that, for them, does basically nothing. And the blueprint glitches the other way too. Somewhere between 1 and 5% of people have a third nipple, usually mistaken for a freckle. Harry Styles has 4. Proof that the body is less a finished product and more a draft that occasionally loses count. And we've saved the strangest for last, because this one isn't a useless part, it's a useless sense. Most animals have a second nose. Tucked inside the nasal cavity is a structure called the Vomeronasal Organ. And it doesn't smell ordinary smells. It detects pheromones, the silent chemical signals that say, "I'm a threat. I'm available. This is mine." It's why a snake flicks its tongue, and why a cat freezes with its mouth half open, making that strange face. They're loading chemicals into this organ and reading the room. And here's the thing, you have it too. Most people still have the tiny pit for it, right inside the divider of the nose. But in humans, the wiring that should carry its signal to the brain appears to be disconnected. The organ is built, installed, sitting there, with the cable to the brain cut. You're walking around with the hardware for a sixth sense your body stopped reading. Everyone around you is still sending those signals. You just can't hear them anymore. That's the real strangeness of your body. It was never designed once, cleanly, on purpose. It's layers, a stack of older humans, each one leaving behind a part that used to matter and never got cleared away. You're not broken, and you're not finished. You're a working draft, still carrying the notes, the dead wiring, and the abandoned tools of every version that came before you. A museum of survival problems you've never had to face, open inside you right now, with nobody at the front desk. Before you go, do the wrist test, the ear wiggle, and feel for that bump on your ear. And tell me in the comments how many of the 12 you've actually got. And if you felt your ears try to move at a sound while watching this, yeah, that one never really left.